This is a reaction to withholding treats, by the way. What's up, everybody? I started Simba today on e-collar training. He's 14 months old now, and he's never seen one before. Never had one on. Had no idea what it was. He did pretty good. I've definitely had dogs that did better, but Simba's one of those dogs that it's really, really hard to do treat training with, and that's what it's leading me into is the dogs that can't do treat training. For one, there's plenty of dogs out there that are not food motivated at all, and I don't care how much you starve them, they won't work with so much for your food. Um, it's fine to use treats, but some dogs it's not very beneficial for. Some dogs it gets them overstimulated, which is what happens with Simba. And the issue is he's already a high drive dog. He is a purebred American Pit Bull Terrier. And when I got him at about 6 months old, the people that follow me already know this. He has a thing about biting you in the stomach and biting you in the groin. And there's a whole explanation behind all of it. It makes sense why he did it. He's not a bad dog. He's not aggressive. Nothing like that. It's overstimulation. Overstimulation is the root cause of, God, I'd probably say 80% of the problems we see anybody post about in dog groups. There's the separation anxiety, anxiety in general, hyperactive dogs, dogs that chew toys, destroy toys in a matter of minutes, stuff like that. That's all overstimulation. Now, anybody that's watched a couple of my videos has seen me take somebody out, and it's not about suppression. You all see me get him hyped up. I let him work on the spring pole, all that good stuff. It's not about suppressing anything. I try to empower my dogs. I want him to give me everything he's got. Show me what he could do. And if I try to suppress him, the harder I try to suppress him, the harder he's going to work to get his way. That's not the case with every dog. That's the case with this dog. With this dog, if I were to apply too much pressure to him or cause pain past a reasonable point, it would trigger engagement from the dog. This is not the type of dog that you're going to dominate or cause pain and make him stop doing something. When you cause pain to a dog like this, it makes him go harder. So, what I'm getting at here is a lot of these people are arguing about aversives and they don't know exactly what they're talking about. They are using the word aversive synonymously with adversive, meaning causing harm to. And it's not the same thing. It's not. Aversion therapy is what you do to stop a behavior or a bad habit. It's not about hurting the dog or causing pain or whatever. It's not about punishing the dog and teaching him that he did wrong. That's not what it is. Aversion therapy, in simple terms, is, for example, with people, we use it all the time. All the time. Have you ever seen the smoking ads on TV? How they show the pretty graphic pictures and stuff like that? That's aversion therapy. That's an aversive to try to stop you from smoking. So aversives are not always physical, and they're not necessarily intended to cause pain or intimidation or harm or anything like that. The other thing is people are using punishment and aversive synonymously, and it is not always the same thing. Basically, what they're explaining to you is they don't know how punishment is used in dogs, and they don't really know the definition of it. We can use punishment to stop bad behaviors, or We can also use it to empower the dog. We can use punishment to create a reward event, um, to give an internal reinforcement as well as an external reinforcement, which is a really powerful thing. If you've done a lot of treat training or tried it to any extent, you know what I'm talking about. You get to the point where your treats don't have as much value as they used to, and everybody starts running around asking, well, what is a higher value treat that I can use?
All right, I appreciate it. I'll be
And
done with
that's
about
when
30
you need
minutes
to
or
get
so.
into higher level training. That's when you need to start listening to what these balance trainers are trying to tell you. This is where we understand the psychology of dogs and how to manipulate them and make them work willingly without breaking them down, without causing pain and fear and frustration and stuff like that. If your punishment is causing adverse reactions in the dog, you're doing it wrong. It's not that punishment is causing it, it's that you're causing it. So you'll have to adjust accordingly. And I'm trying to keep this in simple terms because it's really easy to get too scientific and you just lose people, because that's what I'm trying to say right now is the problem. These are very simple words like aversive, adversive, punishment, things like that. Words that we think that everybody knows what they mean, and you don't. To be honest, if you haven't really studied any psychology at all, then you don't genuinely know what the definition of punishment is. Most people think of punishment as something that happens after you do something bad, that's bad enough to keep you, it'll make you want to avoid the punishment so you don't do that anymore. And I guess in a nutshell, that is kind of what it is, but not always. There's there's times where you can use punishment before the dog does anything wrong, before the dog does anything at all. You use punishment by definition by using pressure, and then that pressure causes the dog to do what you want him to do. And the dog may not even realize it. You know, it's like people think the dog jumps on you and you smack him in the head with a 2x4, that's what punishment is, and that'll stop him from jumping on you. But it'll also cause problems. And nobody disagrees with that. Nobody is telling you to hurt the dog. But nobody talks about punishment as we really use it. For example, if I had a scared dog and the dog was scared to come to me, I would sit at a distance from the dog. I would apply some type of pressure that is not spatial pressure when the dog is out away from me. That could be just tension on a leash. It could be a light e-collar stem, anything like that. I would apply punishment by applying pressure to the dog. And then when the dog makes a movement near me, I release the pressure. And give her a treat if I can. But like I said, a dog that's extremely afraid is not going to want your treat. So you may only be able to use pressure. And if I show the dog that everything is better near me, out there, when you feel pressure, if you just come over by me, the pressure will go away. How is that? How is that a bad thing? Nobody can explain this to me. If I can use an e-collar to communicate with my dog in a way that makes him understand so much faster and so much better, in a way that I can give that dog freedom to run and to not be restrained by leashes and fences and spend his whole life in a cage. Think about that, man. That's what these people like Zach George are suggesting. They're telling you that the basis for their theory is to control your dog's environment. Have you lost your mind? How are you going to control every bit of your environment all your life and just avoid all your fears and triggers? And it doesn't work that way. It's not practical unless you're going to severely limit your dog and keep them caged and contained their whole life. Now tell me who's using the most force. If my dog can go out in these woods with me and I turn him loose with his e-collar on And from a half a mile away, all I have to do is tap, 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 and he comes barreling ass back to me. But Zach George can't do that. Cannot. I guarantee it. Cannot. He'd have to go pick his dog up from the pound next week when somebody found him. It would not come back. So, if his dog has to stay on a leash and in a fenced-in area and in a house and contained his entire life, but my dog can go out in the woods and go down the river and go out and have fun with me and go out and be a dog, who's really force-free? Who's using force here? Who's causing the most stress and adversity to the dog? I don't think it's those of us who are giving our dogs more freedom. That is the whole basis behind a balanced dog trainer, is to just go ahead, teach the damn dog right from wrong so you can live your life and let the dog be a dog. The dog is a family member, but the dog is the dog, and the dog has to be trained. And once the dog understands what is expected of them, they usually don't give you a hard time because they want to please you. You don't have to go through life being hard on your dog. Just don't be sucked into the magic bullets and flying carpets and snake oil salesmen. It's not all that complicated, but it's not as simple as these people are trying to make it out either. If you walk around training your dog excessively with positive reinforcement, you're creating a huge imbalance, and the same chemical reaction in a dog's brain that causes the problems from being punished too much, you're going to start to cause the same sort of chemical reaction to cause the same sort of issue and stress by excessive treat training. It's it's something that's really important that you balance this stuff out. And that doesn't mean you need to use as much punishment as you do rewards. It's just that don't go overboard with anything. Don't correct your dog too much. Don't talk to your dog too much. Don't yell at your dog too much. Don't give them too many treats. Don't give them too much food. Don't give them too much water. Anything in excess is dangerous. Did you know that you could drown yourself by drinking too much water? Sure can. You can go look up the lady that died in a water drinking contest. If you drink too much water, it could kill you. So, a little bit of common sense and moderation, and reach out and ask a real dog trainer for help, man. Most of us will do single sessions with you. We'll sit down and talk to you. We'll explain things to you. Don't get pulled into this nonsense going on online now. And it's already been about 14 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it short. Hope everybody has a great day. See y'all next time.